A very good evening and a warm welcome. Thank you yet again for joining me on Uctv News. My name is Nora Sende to bring you the bulletin this evening. It is a Monday, the 21st of October, 2024. We thank you for staying with us. We are starting off our newscast with the Uganda Traffic Police that has initiated a manhunt for a driver of a milk tanker involved in a fatal accident that claimed the life of Reverend Wycliffe Byamugisha of Kagogo Catholic Parish, that's in Ibanda District. The tragic accident occurred in Kabobo Swamp along Ibanda-Mbara Highway when the milk truck collided head-on with a vehicle in which the priest was traveling. Now, Father Byamugisha was en route to celebrate Mass when the accident took his life.
Yesterday, on the 20th of October 2024, a fatal road crash was registered in Ibanda District at a place called Kabobo Swamp Igorora along Ibanda Mbarara Road. At 2:20 p.m., it was involving motor vehicles UAL 210F, a milk tanker, and UBD 670A Spatial. Our preliminary investigations indicate that the driver of the milk tanker, who was traveling from Mbarara towards Ibanda recklessly, drifted out of his lane and collided with the oncoming Spatial, which was from the opposite direction. And the Spatial's driver, whose name was identified as Reverend Father Byamugisha Wycliffe, attached to Nyabwishi Parish, tragically lost his life in the crash. And the milk tanker driver is currently at large, but police is actively pursuing the suspect. 1:30 p.m., a Toyota Wish UBH 281F overturned at Nyamanga Mohoro Town Council in Kagadi District while this driver attempted to overtake a truck in a single crash. And in this incident, 2 people died and 3 others were injured. And on several occasions, we have always warned on unsafe overtaking. It is very risky for you when especially you attempt to overtake when there are other oncoming vehicles, because in this incident, there was an oncoming motorcycle. A motorcycle is equally a vehicle, so you have to respect. And on sighting this motorcycle, this driver had no way other than wanting to dodge the motorcycle. He overturned several times, killing the 2 people talked about and injuring 3 others.
The Chief Magistrate of Toro has sentenced Moses Ejago, a teacher at the St. Mary's Junior School, Kapeka, for 36 months in prison for his involvement in examination malpractice. According to the Uganda National Examinations Board spokesperson Jennifer Kalule, Ejago was arrested after a tip-off from a whistleblower who had been added to a WhatsApp group which was named the National Preparation for Cheating UNEB Exams. Ejago pleaded guilty while his co-accused Dennis Juko, who denied the charges, has been remanded to Luzira until the 30th of this very month.
Last week, we also received information from a whistleblower who had been added on a WhatsApp group codenamed National Preparation for Cheating National UNEB Examinations. The whistleblower reported the matter to police in Tororo, where investigations were carried out, and it was established that the 2 culprits, who included Ejago Moses and Juko Dennis, were both staff of St. Mary's Junior School in Kapeka, Nakaseke District. Police established that while applying for the job at the school, Ejago Moses was masquerading as a UNEB examiner, and accordingly thereafter, he did form a WhatsApp group, 15 WhatsApp groups, which he administered for purposes of sharing alleged UNEB examination papers, including the PLE examination papers. By the time these 2 were arrested, they were in possession of student examination papers for PLE, that is for mathematics, SST, English, and science. Ejago Moses, who is 36 years old, pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced by the Chief Magistrate in Tororo to 36 months in prison. His co-accused pleaded not guilty and was remanded until the 30th of October 2024. Police did arrest 2 suspects from Bujubi Secondary School, allegedly for being in possession of unauthorized examination materials. The suspects were identified as Onyoto Thomas, 27 years, of Hillside Kalonga Secondary School, and Kambugu Livingstone, 31 years, a biology teacher of Bujubi Secondary School. The 2 were found by a NIP scout with a copy of a chemistry examination paper inside the laboratory while preparations were going on for the same examination. Onyoto Thomas was masquerading as a teacher of the school. The 2 were later handed over to Mani Police Station, where they were detained for further investigation. If convicted, they will be charged under Section 25 of the NIP Act, that is for unauthorized possession of an examination paper, material, or information. Onyoto will also be charged for impersonation. Management did notice with concern that there were some journalists who took pictures in examination rooms while examinations were going on. We wish to caution colleagues in the media that it is illegal to access the examination room without permission from the ED or the name. The media is further informed that no one is permitted to take any coverage or take photographs or videos during an examination paper or in an examination room while examination is underway. Such an action is a threat to the security of the examination, and just in case there's a problem arising out of your action, you will be convicted for aiding and abetting malpractice according to the NIP Act 2021. According to the Act, Section 36 of the Act stipulates that any person who aids, abets, induces, or incites another person to do or does act in a manner that facilitates a commission of the offense under the Act, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a penalty prescribed under the respective section in the NIP Act. We therefore would like to call upon all our media friends to desist from covering activities within the examination room while examinations are in progress. We want to inform all the heads of centers, UCE centers, that we're making a last call to all of you to submit scores for continuous assessment for the candidates of Senior 4. The deadline is 30th October 2024, and we're left with just a few days. The CS scores shall contribute 20% to the overall achievement of the learner, and candidates without CS scores shall not be graded by your name. We therefore urge the heads of centers to ensure that they adhere to the deadline.
The Uganda Police has issued a warning to the public against distracting officers on duty and engaging in physical confrontations with them. Now, the police spokesperson, Ruseke Chituma, made the statement in response to the recent viral video showing the physical altercation between the traffic officer and a female driver accused of violation of traffic laws.
If you have any disagreement, be it with a single or a particular police officer, be it with our laws, be it with our services, there is one simple message. If you disagree with A, B, C, D, escalate. The officer, the lady, the lady was called Massey. The officer Massey was in an encounter with, was not the final person in this matter. Once you disagree with the police constable or the traffic officer, stay calm and escalate your issue. You may be disagreeing with him in the manner in which you have been handled. You may be disagreeing with probably the ticketing system. You can disagree with so many things. You have a lot of freedom within which to exercise your disagreement. What is totally unacceptable is for you to convert yourself into an executioner of sorts. She decided to convert herself into some kind of court and passed judgment on an officer and instantly punished the officer. Now, that one is not acceptable. And I can guess she is not comfortable with what she has gone through since then.
The National Unity Platform has expressed support for its political prisoners who pleaded guilty before the military court to secure their release, now despite the party disagreeing with their decision. The new president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, addressed the matter at the party headquarters in Makerere, Kavale, right here in Kampala, stating that the individuals were coerced into pleading guilty after enduring prolonged detentions that left them exhausted. Kyagulanyi urged the public to pray for them and those who pled guilty and warmly welcomed those who pled guilty, emphasizing that none of the prisoners had committed any crimes.
I want to add my voice on the many voices speaking about the plight of the political prisoners that have been held in prison for the longest time, some 4 approaching 5 years, and others years and several months. Now all of you know that these people were arrested and detained without any crime. We challenged the regime, we challenged the judicial system to expedite their prosecution. They didn't. No evidence was adduced, but they continued torturing these people in prison and intimidating them. All of you know that because our leadership is so reduced, you've seen irresponsible people speaking in the name of the government and bragging about, pressuring and coercing these prisoners to accept the crimes they never committed. You also Balaam, visiting prisons beyond visitation hours. Many times I myself went to prisons, Chitalia and Luzira, and they blocked me from seeing these prisoners. And yet, at hours, sometimes past midnight, sometimes on weekends, Balaam and other regime apologists were allowed access to these people. They constantly told us that they were being coerced, they were being intimidated, and others being promised lots of things if they lied on themselves, if they accepted the crimes they did not commit. Ultimately, many of them accepted. Not all of them. There are still 9, including Machete, Kalanzi, and others that are still standing firm. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that we understand. I personally understand, and I believe most Ugandans understand. We understand these comrades. We know that they are so pressed from all angles, denied access from we, their leaders, who give them confidence and hope, and yet pressured and coerced, using the prison officials and using those that are occupying government positions. I have a strong message to those our colleagues still in prison, that we are still standing with you. We do not criticize you for weakening, because we know what you're going through. We even understand people like Zanya, who are coerced and intimidated, that unless they come out and put on NRM t-shirts and start praising General Museveni, they won't get their freedom. We know that the things that they're being forced to do or say are not the things they believe in. So I want to encourage all of you not to see them in a negative light. Don't criticize them. Don't abuse them. Don't insult them. Give them love. Give them hope, because they need it. They have fought a good fight, and they are still fighting. Keep your arms open for them. I want to thank our team that has been looking after their families, paying school fees for their children. I want to thank you very heartily for not stopping. and we shall not stop. These people are innocent. These were just supporters. The regime is doing this to intimidate anybody else. But they don't know that they continue to expose themselves. As for us, we shall not give up. I also want to salute comrades like Machete, like Kalanzi, and many others who are still in prison, and they are still refusing to go by what Balaman Museveni are saying. Because they understand, we took time to explain to them, it is so dangerous for anybody to coerce you to accept and be convicted, not of any other crime, but terrorism. That means you are a terrorist. That means you are accepting a curse on yourself. This regime is so heartless. You cannot subject somebody's son or daughter to such a curse. They didn't. Terrorism, supporting the opposition is not terrorism. If so, why did they arrest me?
The Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, has expressed concerns over the legitimacy of the People's Front for Freedom, or PFF, logo being used in their ongoing signature collection exercise. FDC spokesperson John Chikonyogo accused the Katonga faction of misleading the party members across the country by claiming the FDC has been dissolved. Now, Chikonyogo is now calling on the Electoral Commission to clarify on the contents of PFF logo and address the key issues surrounding its use in the exercise.
The party has observed with concern that our former comrades, the PFF, are now out looking for signatures. This message goes to our members in the countryside. When they go to meet them, they pretend as if they are FDC members, meeting people they know, and they confuse them that since FDC is going to be dissolved, they can as well now sign for forms for PFF. They have done it in many areas, and our members who do not differentiate who is who sometimes go pray for it. So we want to appeal to our members to tell them that PFF is a different entity, and FDC is still Najana Nkumbi. These friends of us who are promoters of PFF still want to pretend as if they are FDC. That's why we ask the EC to help the country by publishing the logo of PFF so that the people of Uganda gets to know that these are different people. In their telephone, they have put there something which resembles our key, something which is not acceptable inside their telephone. So we ask the EC to look into this, and then they publicize exactly what these people presented to them. Because now they are using this to confuse our members, telling them we are going to dissolve FDC, you better register here. And even the colors, the EC should be publicizing the colors, publishing the colors, so that people get to know exactly what these people are taking out to the countryside. People should get to know that these are people who are not working for the good of FDC. They are doing their own thing. For us as FDC, we wish them well, but we don't want them to confuse our people by pretending to be what they are not. That's what they are lying to, that they are going to dissolve FDC. As I told you, they are dreaming. That one will never be done. They can't do it, and they will never succeed in doing it. The area, they realized that they are chasing the wind, the better for themselves. So our members in the countryside, please beware of these.
Now, farmers across Uganda are set to gather at Hotel Africana for the National Agroecology Symposium organized by Participatory Ecological Land Use Management, or PELAM, Uganda. Now, the symposium running between October 23rd to 26th will feature various themes, including the National Agroecology Actors Symposium on October 23rd that is focused on advancing Uganda's food systems transformation through national agroecology strategy. Speaking in Kampala, Edward Muchibi, PALAM's Uganda Country Board member, emphasized the events aim to provide the platform for agroecology actors to share strategies for scaling up agroecology and improving public policies to transform Uganda's food systems.
I'd like to inform the public about the National Agroecology Week of Action 2024. And this week of action will run from today, 21st October 2024 to 26th October 2024. And it's to be hosted here at Hotel Africana in the heart of Kampala City. But it will be streamed live for the global community to understand and appreciate Uganda's wealth in terms of food, cultural and biological diversity. The 2024 National Agroecology Week of Action has specific events, it combines specific events organized under various themes to engage the public, but also to spark debate on the future of food in Uganda. And these include the 6th National Agroecology Actors Symposium that will start and will be held on 23rd October. And the theme will be advancing Uganda's food systems transformation through the National Agroecology Strategy. This will kick off the debate and also the discussions and the dialogue which we are going to have during this week. The second event will be the 3rd Agroecological Market Systems Expo on 24th October under the theme Strengthening Partnerships for Sustainable Agroecological Entrepreneurship and Markets Development. This is very important because we are looking at transforming agroecological food systems to build more resilient local economies, and this needs entrepreneurs, supporting entrepreneurs, and also business people in agroecological enterprises. The third event will be the 14th Annual Indigenous and Traditional Food and Seeds Festival, to be held from 25th to 26th October 2024 under the theme Harvest Heritage, Honoring the Past and Nourishing the Future. This is also a very important event. It's actually the biggest highlight of the week. It's the climax of the Agroecology Week of Action, where the whole country comes together to showcase the diversity in our heritage, diversity in our food, and also show how this heritage can be a potential for tourism and also for better nutrition in this country. The three events will provide platform for participation of different actors within the agriculture and agroecological spaces. Our mandate and core business at the National Agroecology Actors, as the National Agroecology Actors together with the government, is to scale up agroecology in Uganda by addressing the concerns of agroecological production and market systems and ensuring availability of adequate supportive policy and institutional frameworks.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we return, Uctv News continues.
Uctv, good news for all.
Welcome to Seeds of Success. My name is Rwanga Godfrey. Seeds of Success, we talk about business environment.
If you want to be a millionaire, work for money, but billionaires work for wealth.
Social affairs.
Whom to blame via characters and talents? Is it tertiary institutions or humanity within the human beings.
And other topical issues. Don't miss on UCTV, good news for all.
And welcome back from that break. Well, moving on. The State Minister for Labour, Esther Anyakun, has announced that Uganda government has successfully negotiated the release of imprisoned migrant workers in Saudi Arabia. Minister Anyakun revealed that the agreement followed a series of diplomatic engagements that's between two countries. However, she noted that the negotiations are still ongoing for individuals convicted for serious crimes such as murder and drug trafficking.
Many of our people are languishing in the prison centers across Saudi Arabia and Central. Uganda requested request for clemency of these citizens, including women and children who are born at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and those currently detained in so various offenses in accordance with the Saudi Arabian law, with the exception of those serving prison sentence due to capital offenses such as drug trafficking and murder. I have the pleasure to announce that the Kingdom of the Saudi Arabia has agreed to pardon Ugandans, migrant workers who have been stranded in their deportation centers and prisons across the country. The decision was made during a meeting held between the Ugandan delegation that I led with the Minister of Human Resource and Social Development of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Engineer Hamid Al-Raji. And during the ministerial technical visit that was conducted on between the 14th and 17th of October 2024 in Riyadh. In a gesture of a goodwill of the Saudi government, further pledged to expedite their repatriation back to Uganda and support their reintegration. This unprecedented move is expected to relieve to many numerous Ugandan families. Many of them have been living with uncertainty regarding the fate of their loved ones. The ones who travel to Saudi Arabia with the hope of making their livelihoods and support their families back in Uganda. The Uganda delegation's success in securing this pardon is a testament to the growing cooperation between the two nations in managing labor migration. The government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, as a regulator, continues to pay keen attention to the issues enhancing the protection of its migrant workers abroad, and also ensuring that labor migration is safe, orderly, and regular, particularly in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia as a key destination of labor migration for Ugandans. Saudi Arabia is the biggest labor externalization destinations for Uganda, migrants accounting to over 150,000 migrant workers. Uganda and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia signed a bilateral agreement in 2023 that places responsibility to host Ugandan in their country to provide for rights of Ugandan workers externalized there. Uganda migrant workers in the Middle East alone contribute to about US $900 million per annum to the Ugandan community. Development, Ugandan Ministry of Gender and Labor and Social Development reaffirms its commitments to improving standards of labor externalization through the strategic bilateral partnership. The successful conclusion of negotiations further sends a strong message to support Ugandans working abroad, reinforcing the government's determination to protect their rights and to ensure their safety. The continued dialogue between Uganda and Saudi Arabia is expected to lead to further collaboration aimed to enhancing labor relations and ensure that Ugandan workers are treated with dignity and respect.
As the Catholic Church in Uganda commemorated the 60th anniversary of the canonization of the Uganda martyrs, the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, His Grace Paul Semogerere, called on the faithful to emulate the spiritual resilience and unwavering faith of the 22 Catholic martyrs. Now, in his message delivered by His Excellency, the Apostolic Nuncio, Augustine Kasuja, highlighted the importance of drawing inspiration from the martyrs' devotion. The maiden celebration of this anniversary took place at the St. Mary's National Major Seminary, Gaba.
The Uganda martyrs, comprising 20 Catholics and 2 Anglicans, were executed between 1885 and 1887 by King Mwanga II of Buganda for refusing to denounce their Christianity. June 18, 1964 marked a historic day for the Catholic Church in Africa as Pope Paul IV canonized 22 Ugandan martyrs, recognizing their unwavering commitment to their faith. Today, the Uganda martyrs are revered as patron saints of Africa, inspiring generations with their courage and conviction. At St. Mary's National Major Seminary, Gaba, this year's canonization anniversary celebrations were blended with soul-stirring performance by the choir, whose uplifting rendition primed the atmosphere for divine inspiration. After an hour of a celestial musical experience, retired Lady Justice Christine Nakaseta Binaisa Kitumba presented a well-articulated memorial lecture about the spiritual journey of the Catholic martyrs, which left an everlasting imprint among the listeners.
After the execution of the leader, Joseph Mukasaba, the Christian community was unsettled. They thought that similar matter might happen to them. They might be treated in the same way. However, they were determined to remain steadfast in their faith and were aware of the imminent danger. Some went to the mission to be baptized. Some, like Ambrose Ibuka, went to their homes to tell their relatives that things were bad, they might be killed because of their religion. Of course, the parents of the relatives advised them to stop the faith, to stop Catholicism. However, they refused.
Reverend Father Richard Nyombi, the coordinator of the Society of Missionaries of Africa in Uganda under the Kampala Archdiocese, says this is the right moment for all Catholic devotees to look back, meditate upon the spiritual journey of the canonized martyrs, and also assess their performance in following their footsteps in terms of spiritual, moral, political, and social ways.
A challenge to us. Today we ask ourselves, how have we fared to follow in the footsteps of the Ugandan martyrs? All the challenges we have, the moral and spiritual challenges we have in this country. When we look back at the lives of the Ugandan martyrs, I think we can learn from them a lot to be able to face those challenges, moral, spiritual, and even I think all that will come, economical, political, leadership, and so on, by going back to the roots of our moral and spiritual teaching of the church. I think for the Ugandan martyrs we have a lot to learn.
It's upon this ground that the Kampala Archdiocese Archbishop His Grace Paul Semogerere, through His Excellence, the Most Reverend Augustine Kasuja, implored all the faithful to emulate the Uganda martyrs.
It is my hope, continues the Archbishop, that this peregrination has revived our devotion to the Ugandan martyrs by learning more about them, but more so by praying through their intercession. It is also my hope and prayer that the graces received through this spiritual exercise will empower the revived Uganda Martyrs Guild to become a real living monument of the life and the death of our martyrs.
According to the Archbishop, the Uganda Martyrs' legacy stretches beyond Uganda's boundaries, justifying his repeated demand for establishing a monument of the Uganda Martyrs at the airport.
On that occasion, I requested the government of Uganda to put up a monument of the Uganda Martyrs at the Entebbe airport, considering the fact that these martyrs have made this country more known all over the world than anything else. I was promised that a follow-up will be made on this point. Since the 14th of September, these relics are accessible to the public for veneration in the exhibition on the Ugandan Martyrs canonization at 60.
While receiving the first-class relics of 2 Uganda martyrs from Rome at Entebbe Airport last month, the Archbishop proposed for the establishment of Uganda Martyrs Monument at Entebbe Airport in acknowledgement of the magnitude of pilgrims drawn to Uganda on their accounts, which also boosts the tourism sector in the country, especially during the 3rd June Namugongo Martyrs Day. Story compiled by Joseph Kabale for UCTV News.
The Archdiocese of Toro officially inaugurated St. Denis Catholic Church in Rahaha, a new parish aimed at bringing pastoral services closer to the local population. Now carved out of Magale Catholic Parish in Namisindwa District, the new parish, which borders Kenya and Uganda, will oversee 28 substations, enhancing the church's outreach in the region.
Joy and excitement in Namisindwa district in Toro Archdiocese, where hundreds of Christians gathered to witness the official elevation of St. Denis Catholic Church Lwahaka to a parish status.
With all the rights and obligations of a parish as stipulated in Canon 515 paragraph 3.
St. Denis Catholic Church was an outstation of Magale Catholic Parish, but the increase in the number of Christians made the Archdiocese to extend pastoral work closer to the population in this border area. The inauguration of Lwahaka Parish also saw the immediate appointment of Father Thanasius Kikoba as the first parish priest.
I take this honor to once more welcome you back to the Archdiocese and thank you for all that you have been doing for the flock of Christ in Muyembe Parish as assistant priest. I'm certain that you have learned a lot from the people of God in that part of the Archdiocese. After due consultations, I'm appointing you to steer the new parish of St. Denis, Lwahaha, as parish priest.
Beyond the usual sacramental celebrations, the new parish priest has many responsibilities awaiting him as per the expectations of the Christians here. A significant focus will be on spearheading social and economic transformation in the area.
Something like fighting HIV/AIDS, how we are running the border, we also pass through them. We want the people to respect each other.
Reach out to the young girls out there and advise them and speak to them about early marriages. And try to empower them as young girls, advise them to go to schools, advise them to start up things, businesses and all that.
I know the Christians are going to come many because they will know we have the priests the sitting priests around.
The new parish is expected to play a major role in shaping people's lifestyles in this border town, and the Christians are hopeful that this new development comes with a lot of positivity for their community.
I may not be of the flock of the Catholic Church, but certainly I respect my God. And where God's people want to do something, we must always be there. Possibly this is why we are always blessed in one way or the other. We have contributed and changed this place. The Reverend Father, His Grace, the Father, said the market. True, we have just put it there with reason under the COMESA arrangement. It has just come. So you can see when God wants to work out miracles, the first thing is to observe His utmost grace.
In his homily, the Archbishop of Tororo, Dr. Emmanuel Obo, appealed to the Christian community of Lahaka and Namisindwa as a whole to always embrace unity if they are to achieve transformation in themselves and their society.
We all Christian community here in this parish with so many outstations, what is our responsibility? Your responsibility, as I said, must be united together to make this parish sustain. The Christian community must be united in your God, in the name of in Jesus' name. That also must show in practice. Must show in practice. If I am a son of God, a daughter of God, what do I show the world?
St. Denis Lahaka becomes the 50th Catholic parish of the Archdiocese of Tororo and is expected to bring conversion and transformation to the people here and beyond. I am Alonzo for Uctv.
Now, catechists have been called to serve as ambassadors for the Catholic Church by encouraging young Christians to pursue vocations to religious life as the number of Catholic faithful and churches in Tororo continues to grow. Now, while priests remain in short supply, the appeal was made by the Archbishop of Tororo Archdiocese, the Most Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Obo, during the Catechist Day celebrations at Uganda Martyrs Cathedral, Nyangole, the Archdiocesan headquarters. The event coincided with the feast day of the Uganda Martyrs, Daudi Okello and Gildo Irwa, catechists martyred in Pai Mall, that's in northern Uganda.
With the growing number of Catholic Christians and more parishes being opened in the Archdiocese of Tororo, the Archbishop of Tororo, the Most Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Obo, has highlighted the urgent need of more religious workers. Speaking to over 2,000 catechists and their spouses at Nyangole Cathedral as they gathered to celebrate the annual Catechist Day under the theme, "The harvest is rich but the laborers are few," Archbishop Obo urged them to convince members of the flock, particularly young people, to consider joining religious life as priests, religious brothers and sisters, or as catechists.
The harvest is there. The laborers are few. And who are the laborers on the ground? The catechists, who should also look at their moment as a call, as a vocation. And they also should mobilize for all these vocations, for priesthood, for religious life, and for catechist ministry. Sometimes you catechists forget that even you need to call it, if you want to call it campaign for vocations of catechists. They are there. I have seen several young people in secondary schools who desire to become catechists.
As they continue their work of evangelization, these grassroots foot soldiers of the church are also expected to conduct themselves with integrity, presenting a positive image of the Catholic Church in their communities.
In our struggle to serve the Lord, we will meet people who may not be in favor with what we are doing. They will hurt us either with the word or even struggle with us. One can test how strong you are. And then when he tests you like that, you will say, you will know who I am. I'm a catechist. I'm going to show you. At the end of the day, he is free. You as a catechist will be asked, hey, even a catechist can do that.
With many areas in the Eastern Ecclesiastical Province facing severe poverty, Archbishop Obo also encouraged the church servants to embrace small-scale enterprises like commercial agriculture and joining the savings circle that has been opened for them to help them escape poverty.
Onions have a lot of money. At least there's no family that eats without onion today. And the tomatoes, actually. And small other things, beans, and so on. You can plant your beans, you send some you do what? You eat. The only thing that you cannot plant is omena.
The catechists on their part have expressed their agreement with the Archbishop's words of wisdom and pledged to put his message into practice.
Whoever becomes our friend and closely moves with us automatically becomes a catechist. Let me give you an example. My wife was a matron to some lady in Equapa. Today she's the newest extraordinary minister of Holy Communion from Equapa Parish. Jennifer is somewhere there. She's our daughter. So whoever becomes close to us just becomes a catechist. So much as we are going to be praying to the Lord to increase the number, our way of life is just going to bring them. And where I serve in Busetemba University main campus, I am seriously challenging engineers to join religious life.
This year's annual Catechist Day was celebrated on the feast day of the two Uganda martyrs, Daudu Okello and Gildo Irwa, the young catechists who were martyred in Paimol, Agago district in northern Uganda. And the celebration of the Catechist Day is meant to recognize and celebrate the commitment of these ministers in spearheading the work of evangelization in the world. I am Alonzo for UCTV in Tororo.
In a bid to enforce broadcasting regulations, the Uganda Communications Commission, UCC, has launched an operation against 17 local radio stations and other broadcasters operating without licenses. According to UCC's Public and International Relations Officer, Ibrahim Bossa, the Commission's patience has run out after numerous unheeded notices and warnings were issued on these non-compliant entities.
In an effort to restore order in the broadcasting sector, protecting licensed operators and consumers from interference and poor service quality, the Uganda Communications Commission Act 2013 mandates the Commission to regulate broadcasting services, ensuring all broadcasters obtain necessary licenses. Section 26 and 27 of the Act specifically prohibit the installation or operation of radio or television stations without a UCC-issued license. Nevertheless, the Uganda Communication Commission has noted with concern the escalating flouting of the well-stipulated rules and regulations among the broadcasters, particularly the already 17 identified local radio stations, which were previously issued by seizure and desist notices, followed by criminal summons, and they haven't heeded.
There are still 17 radio stations across Uganda, located in Masaka, in Mubende, and Greater Masaka, including Luwero, that continue to operate illegally. Many of these stations have a significant influence in the area they operate. So once our enforcement actions are complete, we will issue a public notice listing the names of these non-compliant operators.
Bossa went ahead and revealed that the operation will not spare even the illegal public address systems, loosely termed as Bizindalo, and added that those equipment that will be confiscated shall never be released even after their owners finally complying.
Bizindaro are not permitted to operate by law. They are not licensed by the Uganda Communications Commission or any other entity in Uganda for purposes of broadcasting. Why? Because they disrupt public order and peace. So according to Section 5B of the Uganda Communications Act, the Commission is the only entity authorized to license communication services in Uganda. The Commission is committed in eliminating these services, and we are beginning with 20 cases for which we have already received complaints. And as we are enforcing on these, all those illegal broadcasters of Bizindaro on our way will also be treated as such.
Meanwhile, he disclosed the Commission's intention of attaching social media posts of media employees to their respective media institutions in the spirit of cracking down on the vice of mis or disinformation on social media, which is on the rise, apparently among journalists.
During the launch, the Executive Director of the Uganda Communications Commission did make a comment that we have observed many actors within media houses, especially anchors and members of staff, have generated very huge followings. There are some members of staff in media houses that have followings that even rival a typical radio station or even a television station. But these people would always have certain comments, certain information they share while not on the job that could be classified as misinformation, could be disinformation, or could be even fake news. During that launch, a number of instances were actually shared. So he did mention that we are looking, moving forward, at requiring media houses in the next licensing regime to have social media policies, whereby as a media house, you cannot detach yourself from the actions of your employee, especially those ones who have come out as amplifiers, as influencers of very large audiences.
Story compiled by Joseph Kabale for UCTV News.
It's now time for Today in History. And that marks the end of our bulletin this evening. It has been nice having you. I am Nora Sende. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. For now, do have a lovely evening. God bless you.